Hello, everyone. Michaela is here. I am your joy coach with my joy coach here on Instagram and Joy Inc. What we do at Joy Inc. is we work to highlight people's best selves. And the reason we do that is when we bring our best selves to the table, the whole world gets to enjoy the light and the gift that we have within. So when I see friends of mine on that journey, taking their time to invest in themselves and bring their best version of who they are to life, makes my heart kind of beat a little bit. So I've been watching this guest today for a long time. We are friends from college. Won't tell you how many years ago that is. But he struggled and he shared his struggles. And today we're going to talk about the struggle out of and beyond college, the struggle through finding sobriety, and then finding life in the light. And for him, he did this through photography. So I'm really excited to join with you today to get to know more about Mike Freas and all the things. So let's see if I can get him in here. Of all this whole Instagram technology jazz. So while we are waiting, I'll give you a little background. So I went to UNC Wilmington. I'll tell you the year and you can figure out the number of years between, but in 1998. I went to college. All the things were going on, all the fun. It was at the beach. We called it UNC BDB for University of North Carolina by the beach. And what we did there is not unique. We totally joined in on the celebration of what it meant to be a college kid at that time. Hang on one sec. Let's see. I'm not able to do this, you guys. What's going on? All right, hold on. Yeah, so our experience was not all that unique, right? We went down there, we went to class sometimes. We did, I don't know, all sorts of college things, including a lot of drinking, sometimes the drugs, all the partying that one might expect growing up at that time. Probably the same today. Some of us get out of it okay enough, and some of us struggle through. And if you give me a few minutes, we're going to make sure we get Mike on here to share that journey. Hang tight. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, there he is.
This is kind of cool.
This is really kind of cool, isn't it?
I've never done this before.
Well, so I've done this a whole 5 times before. So I'm a pro. Not really.
There we go. Here, we'll make it so everybody can see my cool little dinosaurs.
What are they?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Nice. Is that a thing? Like, are you into dinosaurs and stuff?
No, it's one of my wedding couples. Whoa, one of my wedding couples from. She's actually an artist from Wilmington.
Nice.
So she gave me. I stole those off the table from the wedding reception. But she gave me.
That's awesome.
The welcome card. They sent me PT's grill fry seasoning.
Okay, so I know we're here to talk about other things, but can we talk about PTs? Like, so friends, PTs. Mike and I went to college together, as I was introducing a few minutes ago. You'll do the math, but we started in 98, right? So we're going back a ways. But there was this little, I know. But there was this wonderful little burger joint right across the street from school called PT's. And it uses this lemon pepper, garlic, all the pepper seasoning. And I'm here to tell you, I would drink it. Like I started working there, I think, because I loved the seasoning. So when they started marketing and branding it out, we have 2 containers of it, and I used it for dinner 2 nights ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty amazing.
I love it.
I think I've put it on I think every potato that goes into the oven.
Yep, it's the only way to go. It's the only way to go, you know? And I'll tell you, so it's interesting that we talk about PTs because, as I was saying in the intro, like you and I weren't spectacularly unique when we went to college. We went to a school, we went to some classes. I mean, I think I went to a bunch of classes. I was kind of a dork, but right. Everybody gets to make their own choices. But
When you
like,
give me a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class from 3 to 3:30 that has 300 people in it and they don't take attendance, I think I
right.
went to that class
One.
first day, midterm, and final, and I somehow got a B in it. We won't say how.
We'll
Because
carry
I
on
went to the
from
beach
that.
and went surfing every day.
Right. And it's easy to do, right? It's very easy to get caught up into that mainstream celebratory party lifestyle, especially when you live at the beach. And I
100%.
think one of the things that we're really going to get into today is your journey, your struggle towards finding a happier, healthier life. And you did that through sobriety, it seems like. You know, so friends that are watching, just FYI, we will be talking about sobriety and the struggles there within. So if that's something that kind of triggers you or might be difficult, maybe kind of fast forward. But
Don't
let's
fast
get
forward.
there, right? Don't fast forward. It's not going to be hard. But so here I go, 98, freshman year, I meet this guy, Mike Freas. And as I said in the Facebook post, you're larger than life. You have this enigmatic, huge personality, right? And everybody knew you. You were incredible, right? And then sophomore year comes, we knew you were struggling. We could see you struggling. And then you were gone. What went down?
Sophomore year, my mom passed away when it was like it's literally a week before Christmas, sophomore year. Yeah, so
that's tough.
like, yeah, that happened. She was sick when I got to UNCW. She was sick when I got to UNCW, and it just progressively got worse and worse. She had actually been sick since I was, eighth grade, eighth grade.
What was she sick with?
Breast cancer. She was like one of the first people in the U.S. to get the bone marrow stem cell transplant.
Wow.
You know, and at that time, unfortunately, it didn't work. It was still exploratory. Insurance didn't cover it. None of that. Like it was a big detriment to the family. But she came back. She had 3 reoccurrences of breast cancer, and the fourth time when it came back, it just attacked. I'd already flunked out of UNCW at that point, and I was at Cape Fear.
And when you are in that place, right, like you're already kind of down in the dumps, like you're out of UNCW, you've shifted to the community school, which is great, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good school.
I'm not guessing there was a lot of room for you to explore your grief and how to handle that and manage that. How did that come? How did you not handle that, let's say?
Wednesday nights, Charlie Brown's trivia night, free wings, and 32-ounce pitchers of 32-ounce mugs of Killian's Red.
I do remember those days, actually. Shout out to Charlie Brown, CBs. Yeah. And it's great, right? We love it, but it's not necessarily a healthy place to grieve, right?
No, like so part of the reason, like I took half her ashes and spread them off the south end of Wrightsville Beach, and I thought, I was like, okay, I'm gonna spread her ashes. She's gonna go to the sea, place that like she and I I started going. I think my first beach trip from the mountains of North Carolina was I was like 6 months old. We had a family house down at Litchfield Beach that we used to go to every summer. And, I thought that would like do it. And then I just started surfing every day versus like I had dead end jobs.
Which is pretty good therapy.
Yeah, it was great therapy. But the problem was I had that therapy for that small like window of time. So then when I left, it was like party. And then, then progressively moved into darker kind of friend circles is a way to put it. And that's where some of the, alcohol became worse. I started dabbling with a lot of kind of hard drugs. Didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of felt like I had no purpose in life and unfortunately that lasted for quite some time.
So substance abuse became like a giant part of your story.
Yeah.
It became like the thing. And then when we were talking the other day, and I love the timing of things, you were on your way to see your 104-year-old grandmother, right?
Yep.
And you posted a picture of that, which was amazing. 2 beautiful smiles. But you told me a story about how in your early 20s, after leaving Wilmington because you had exhausted the couches and the possibilities there, you moved in with grandma.
Yeah.
And you told me that she put you in jail. You
Yep.
had made such pitiful decisions in her viewing and compromised her.
Yep.
Now, how do you get from being put in jail by grandma to still loving and celebrating her? That must have taken a lot of growth or, you know, like forgiveness from her.
My Nana, I'm gonna cry. My my Nana is.
Thank you.
She's a matriarch of our family.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time with her growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and she even had the conversation with me once. I called her from jail and was talking to her, and it was, she goes, "I did it for a reason. You deserved it. You needed it. You needed to wake up." And to this day, like, we have still the same bond, the same strong relationship. I can honestly say, ever since then, she and I have never spoke of it again, ever.
She did what she needed to do,
yeah.
and you responded in kind as best you could.
Yeah, it's like the true meaning of tough love. That's what it is. Sometimes family members have to do things to you that are just not exactly what you would think would be like the thing, and then next thing you know, and the worst part about it is, like, it still took me quite some time after that period of transition in my life to really figure it out, because I still, once that whole stint of issues was done, it still continued on, and for probably another 10, 12 years, I would say.
So what do you think, right? Like, you're already down in the dumps, right? Grandma's put you in jail. That's kind of a low point, right? But it still carries on. Do you think that was the cultural influence, that the people and the spaces and the times you were in just made it too easy? Like, one of the things I'd mentioned, I mean, I read something the other day, in 2 weeks, the alcohol industry, maybe even just the beer industry, I'm not 100% sure, but the alcohol industry paid $70 million in advertising. 60 million of that went to the football world of advertisements. And it just makes me think of how much influence we have coming our way to say the way to happiness, the way to salvation, the way to get through is through taking in substances that are really not very good for you. I mean, and listen, I drink. I'm not throwing stones at that part of it, but I also, as I learn these things and have conversations with people like you, I have to start really questioning my relationship with alcohol, right? Like, why do we do these things? And when
I think it's it's so easily accessible. I'm not saying that every person that drinks is bad, but I know quite a few that probably should stop. I have a lot of friends that can go out and have just 2 beers or 2 glasses of wine or a cocktail at dinner and be fine. And unfortunately, I wasn't one of those people. I think it's really excessive. It's too accessible. I think precedent is put. I think alcohol does. I mean, I don't care. I still say it. I'm a big proponent of cannabis. I think alcohol does more damage to your body, to relationships, to your drive, to your life, and yet you can get in a car and kill somebody while you get drunk. But if I smoke a joint, I go to jail for a year. It's like, so I think I think like we use the word mental health, and we use the word substance abuse, and like, oh, we gave all this. I mean, I'm not going to get political on my political high horse. We've already had that conversation. We don't want to go there again. But
another day we'll do that one.
Substance abuse and mental health are talking points. And that's what it's become. It's become talking points to where, we give this much money to mental health. But yet we don't look at the reasons and the things that are causing those mental health issues. Because for someone to want to get sober, or someone want to get mental health help, they internally themselves have to want to do it. I mean, that's the only reason I've done it. I mean, I'm
How
proud to
did you
say
do
it.
it? I mean, so right, like so grandma influences, the hole keeps getting deeper and deeper. And if I'm correct, you're now in Key West, Florida,
No, I'm up in
living,
Asheville, North Carolina. Well, I'm
or
in
well,
Key,
at the
yeah,
time,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, Asheville.
There was a person though, right? There was
Yep.
one person that was able to just get in. And I think from hearing you talk about it, a lot of it was right time, right place, right person, right message. Because you just stopped,
Yeah, I
right?
was so my dad kept always telling me, he's like, you need to stop drinking, you need to stop drinking. And I wouldn't listen to him. Like, come on, I'm just as hard
Mm-hmm.
headed as my father is. It's probably where it's definitely where I get it. If my brother I don't think has Instagram, so he'll have to see this later and he'll be nodding
Yeah,
his head
we'll
the
send
whole
him the
time.
link.
I moved in with this guy in Key West, Florida. His name's Joe Carter. Joe is a artist. He was Ozzy Osbourne's airbrush artist for
Wow,
Ozfest. Like, if you've ever been to Ozfest, you've seen Joe's art. And I was living
awesome.
with Joe for probably 3-4 years. We used to have a lot of deep conversations, and Joe drinks. He can drink and hold his own and
Mm-hmm.
handle it, whereas I couldn't.
Right.
And he started noticing that and noticing that. And I remember we had a conversation once, and I just kind of was like, hey, whatever. I like sat there, and then what I do, I just went straight to the bar like 5 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, great idea. I'll see you later.
yeah. And then I came home drunk one night, and I was sitting out back by the pool. And he
Mm-hmm.
came in, and he could tell I was drunk, and he just sat and he looks, dude, you're wasting a lot of potential. Because you
Mm-hmm.
got two options, either shape up or ship out.
Right.
And I went, and it was kind of like, okay, this is starting to hit home a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going,
Right.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this about me. I was homeless for 3 years. I lived on the streets of Orlando,
Jeez.
Florida. Not ashamed to say it, because I think
It's part of
and
your
it's hard.
story.
Exactly. It's
It
about,
got you here. There's tipping points, right? There's
yep,
grandma, there's the streets of Orlando, and then Joe, and now it's like a really like I just
yeah,
can't manage this weight anymore. And there's something to be said, right? Like we love our family, but a lot of the reason, I get a lot of referrals from sisters, right? People saying
mm-hmm,
my sister needs help and I can't be the one to do it. Because when our family says it, there's all the legacy of stories and
mm-hmm,
experiences and judgment backing it. But
yep,
when a friend who does not have that agreement with you or that history says, I see you, and what I love is that he said he saw your potential,
yep,
right? So you look in the mirror the next day, you shake it off, you say, this is what we're going to do. Now,
yep.
I can say as the viewer, I watched as day 1, day 20, day 50, because you were
Yeah,
tracking it on
I had a tally
Facebook,
going. I actually
and I
just got a
loved it.
memory the other day
I,
about that.
I loved it. I like that's when I started to see you again, Mike, because I saw that light, that larger than life guy saying, I've got things to do. I cannot be wasting my time over here getting wasted at the bar. I've got a life to live. So I really appreciate that friend influence because it doesn't always resonate when it's from family,
Yeah,
as much as we wish. Um,
I think it was
wow.
too, and it was, you know, we used to have this, like, you'd always hear people in like Key West, they do what is it, like sober January or
Hmm.
something like that. And
Dry January. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I even I attempted before he even, I think before he said something, I attempted to stop smoking cigarettes,
Hmm.
to stop drinking. I think I lasted
Hmm.
like maybe a week, and then something happened, and I was like,
Hmm. Right back in.
I still will never forget the morning. I mean, I can see it clear as day in my memory, like what my face looked like when I
Mm.
looked up into the mirror, and it was like 5 a.m. in the morning, parched, hung over
Mm.
as can be,
Right.
sucking water out of the faucet in the bathroom. I just looked up, and it was like my eyes were sunken. There was no color in my
Right.
face. It was a low point, but at the same time, it's like I feel like those low points are, if you have this enough like strength and perseverance, like every person has it, you just got to dig deep inside.
I agree.
And I think it was just, the more I think about it every day, is that I think the whole reason was I was tired of being that
Yeah.
guy that everybody looked at like, oh God, here comes drunk Michael again. It was like,
Hmm.
I wanted people to praise me, not put me down, because
Right.
I've been picked on and put down my whole life. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, all right, if I do this, maybe something good will happen. And then it's like, holy shit, look at where we're at now.
It did. Well, so let's get to there, right? So we watched the Facebook tracker going, and you know, our Facebook world is celebrating, and then I start to see something else, right? And I'm going to introduce the next part by reflecting on our conversation last week.
Yeah.
And what you said, and this is the part that I love so much. And I'll get to how this is important, but without light, we don't have life. Because I love the way light plays and reflects and contrasts, so that when we show up fully ourselves, we can be seen for our uniqueness in the light.
Yep.
And I say that, and that's a paraphrase of a couple parts of our conversation, but you found your light. And in doing so, you're now able to see the light in other people, other things, airplanes, all manner of stuff.
Yep.
And I think that when you picked up a camera and looked through the lens, it gave you a whole new shift in perspective on who you are and what you can do. So tell us how Michael Freas Photography saved your life, kind of, or gave you a new life.
So
if
I'm gonna
it's connected,
you
can shift that narrative.
I think I'm gonna go kind of like offer like a
Do
different
it.
route than our conversation the
Do
other
it.
day. A camera, when you put it up to your face, there is just a small your eye sees. If any person that's watching this, if you ever picked up a camera and you look through the lens, your eye without a camera sees at 35 millimeters. I think that's right. And if I'm wrong, please nobody correct me.
It's good enough for me. And if they correct us, just do so respectfully, because we're all learning here.
So it in a way is kind of like a version of tunnel vision, because you can only see a certain frame. You can't see what's outside. So it makes you kind of take a step back and survey everything that's around you, and then focus on the part that's important for that composition.
Oh, I like that.
So you kind of like, when you see things through a lens, you don't see it. You see it differently than what your eye sees it away from it. And then when you capture it in a photo, well, the whole process of the photo, and once you go into your editing and all that, is if you shoot it at it's called raw, and raw is basically consider a chef with all of his ingredients is raw, and then a chef cooking something is a photographer editing something. So that final dish, where
bringing it all together,
is like how we do it as photographers. So it makes you A, survey, B, compose on what's important, what gives it that kind of storytelling, hence the storyteller. Shout out to Fundy. You
love it.
You kind of see like your recipe of everything comes together, and then when you sit down to edit, you bring that image to life. So your whole process is, I remember, you have to also try to remember mentally, what did it look like when you captured
at
that?
the full and at the small.
Yep.
I like that, because I think it's so important to not just stick to, when we move through life, this is all we see, right? This is our experience, and we filter it through millions of past experiences and such. But if we can step back and kind of watch the full movie, not just the little element of it, we now have room to evaluate and discern what's good, what could be better, where does the lighting need to shift? If I put more energy over here, what do I get out of it? I love that metaphor. I think that's fantastic.
And
really,
I think it's, and
really
the
Mike.
interesting part about things too is, like, this is something I had a conversation with somebody. I think it felt like it might have been at a wedding, and I was explaining to him, I was like, when you take your cell phone out and you take pictures, you see, and I think I said this to you see people walking around in like tourist areas where they're like, oh, click, they put it in their phone, they don't even look at it. And 9 times out of 10, they take a picture because that somebody else took it, so they have to have it on their phone.
Right. This looks like a photo opportunity.
Yeah, but when you're using a camera, in shooting in a raw format,
Mm-hmm.
your job is to bring everything to life. So you take a flattened image that you might
Mm-hmm.
see on your cell phone that has no depth to it, and you have to create it and bring it into life like 3D. So
Right. To
you have
create a
to
whole
have,
experience from one flat image.
and you have to have the mental capacity. You have to have the mental like kind of push through that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make everything lifelike.
I
So
like it.
how, you know, and then that's another thing with the light. It's like, how do I look at light and make things lifelike? So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like when I drive, which is not always the best, especially when I'm on the Blue Ridge Parkway, you
Uh-oh.
see light hitting things and you see things that pop and they stand
Right.
out. And it's like that metaphor that I told you when we were driving that you just kind of paraphrased. Nothing has life without light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's life in darkness, of course,
Sure.
but it doesn't have.
But it's not seen. It's not
Exactly.
it's not the phrase that's used. I feel like it's Swahili is Ubuntu, which means because I am seen by you, I exist. Right?
Right.
Like
Yep.
kind of like if a tree falls in the woods kind of deal. But it's
Let's not talk about bears. I a couple days ago.
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh. Shake it
I got
up. Shake it
chased.
up.
Yeah, I got chased by one. It was kind of scary.
A couple days ago?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, you'll have to share that story with me later.
Yeah. It's
All right. So
it's
no bears.
still,
No bears
no
and no
bears.
trees in the woods. But it's how did you say it? You know, we can fully be seen when we are in the light, right? When we
Oh,
hide who we are in darkness, when we try to be something else, when we don't listen to what our body, what our souls are saying, it gets noisy because again, we've got millions and trillions and billions of dollars coming our way saying that the only way to happiness and health is through the things we're advertising here on TV and this image we've created for you. And I love Hallmark movies, but none of it's real, right?
right.
So we're sold this idea, and when we don't accomplish it, oftentimes we end up struggling and spiraling down. And
Yep.
what I love, Mike, I call you Mike, but I like Michael because it's, you know, we've all grown up a little bit. What I love so much is that you've taken that and you've chosen not to hide it, that story of struggle. You've
Yep.
chosen to share it. And like I said, when I saw you putting that ticker on Facebook, I said, he wants to be seen. He
Yep.
is standing in the light saying, I am fully here. I am a little bit broken, but there's nothing wrong with me. I just have to grow. And if we can destigmatize a little bit of that mental health terminology, that alcoholic terminology, all the isms, right, that lock us into a way of being forever, a diagnosis forever. If we can demystify that and just say we're just humans trying to figure it out, and and celebrate those who say, you know what, I'm going to try this whole sobriety thing, or I'm going to try this whole new lifestyle thing because it's good for me. It doesn't make us weird or damaged or like you should be ashamed to go sit in the corner. And I'm so proud of the fact that you are not standing in a corner. You're standing with a light, saying literally a light on your camera or a flash from wherever you're coming from, and saying it's okay to be broken and messy because there's still light inside. And if we look for it, that makes us uniquely and divinely us. And my goal for this whole little mini series is to talk to people who have found their divine gift and are using it to help grow and change and serve. And I really, really, really love watching your journey. And I thank you so much again for trusting me to have this conversation in this space with you. And I would love for people watching. You do weddings, you do lifestyle things, you do music festivals and photos. And I kind of hate we didn't get to talk about how you learned photography. I'll paraphrase by just saying he's self-taught, y'all. Like, yeah, like he learned this. So number one, anything is possible with YouTube. But number two, it's the dedication and commitment to bringing forth your light has made a difference. So I would love for all of you to head on over and check out his work. I mean, one of the favorite pictures I have of you is of an airplane. It's just fantastic.
Which one? The one that I was sitting in the front seat?
No, it's like there's like the pylons and there's like the big, I don't know, it's on the
The
water.
plane that's landing on the water. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yep,
Fort
yep, yep.
Jefferson. Oh,
I love it.
I hope that place is still there. Unfortunately, the storm went right through it. Let's not talk about that. It's been a
No,
rough morning.
we'll touch on that and just say
You
to all
know,
those affected by Ian, we get it. We're from Wilmington, North Carolina. He's from South Florida. We get it. And we
just
are
so
praying and holding out for you.
and any person that knows me knows I've been real worried the past 2 days, but we got a phone call this morning from cousins. All my family is finally found. They're all accounted for.
Good.
They're all safe.
Good.
That's all that matters. You know, and there's something
small blessings.
Yeah,
you know?
you were talking about like we got to demystify it. I think a big thing with like sobriety, I remember like, and I just like thought of this when you were saying it. I think people that are used to, you know, their social pretty much all the time is at a bar or out. And once again, I'm still not knocking it whatsoever. It's, you know, some people can
make
like
their
I said,
choices.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
some people can drink, some people can't. I was one of those people that can't. But I think it's like there's like this big like FOMO of like, if I'm not at the bar or I'm not with my friends drinking, I'm going to miss something important. Whereas, and that was a big part with me because I had this false sense of friendship and realized that like.
And connection. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the bartenders were my friends. They're only my friends because I would tip them half my paycheck.
Right.
And it's still funny. It still will laugh to this day. There was a certain bartender at a place called the Green Parrot in Key West. His name's Beaver. Daryl Beaver said to me after I got sober, and he was like, you know, Mike, he's like, I didn't think you could do it. He goes, but I think we're all happy for you. And he's like, I know we're definitely happy for you because we don't have to chase you for your tab anymore. So it's, you know, you gotta pull your experiences and look at things. Like, I think one of the ways that I kind of progress every day is I look at the old and go, yeah, I was a complete idiot back then. And like, oh, look at
we
now.
all though? It's our job to learn.
But there's a lot to be said for it because there was, so I don't think I told you about this in, what was it? May of 2016.
Okay.
I had a 7-page article come out on my photography in a magazine. I'll send it to you actually so you can read. There's a really good article. Yeah. It was ghost written by myself and the editor of the magazine called Kite Surf Magazine.
Cool.
And it was about some photography I'd done with a couple of kite surfers in Key West. And there was this thing that I said, and I remember like the editor kind of paraphrased it, like reworded it. And it was like, you know, I was treading water I was in this big ocean of water, and the beach was within reach, but I didn't have like the gusto to swim. Yeah, it was like, and then once I found like that light being my sobriety, being cameras and photography, that I didn't have to tread water anymore. I was able to stand up. And
look at how much energy we put into treading water, right? Like it's easy for a few minutes and it gives us some grace, right? Because like how many times have we found ourselves in life just, oh, I'm at the job, I'm doing this thing, it's kind of killing me, but just tread the water because we think we're doing something and we think maybe tomorrow we'll have the energy to make the change. And what I'm hearing from you is that maybe you had been called to that time and time again, but timing is so important. We have to answer the call when our divine gift knocks. We just have to. And guess what? If we don't, it's going to knock again.
Yeah. Right? And that's the thing.
There is no finite, you know, presence of our gift, of our light. It's always there. We forget that, right? And we try to dim it with our thoughts, our behaviors, our friends, our attempts at connection with friends, our choices for food and drink and otherwise. But when we see that we're treading water and all we have to do is stand up, it might be bumpy. We might step on some shells and cut our feet or whatever, but then we get to move forward. Yep. And that's what I want to do.
When you know, there's something, and I gotta say this because I just saw who joined the live. Hi, Alicia. I gotta say hello to you. And I hope everything's. I met Alicia. She lives in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
there was a conference called Fearless. There's here, shameless plug, Fearless
Nice.
Photographers. We, after Hurricane Irma, actually, well, Maria was what it was after, hit Puerto Rico. There's a yearly conference, and it's literally people I look up to, people I idolize. I mean, that's how I met my mentor in photography, was through Fearless.
Cool.
We were down in Puerto Rico. We did basically where all the funds that we for the thing went to benefit funds in Puerto Rico, and we allowed all the Puerto Rican photographers and their families to come to this conference for free because it was there to create a community. And I swear to you,
thank you.
Jesus Christ.
You are good. This is a great space to be as feeling as you want to.
My photography family that's my family. And, you know, those are the people that day in, day out give me that push that says, you know, you're on the right path. You're doing things right. And I think with the friends that I've formed through photography, I mean, with me, I travel a lot for work, so I don't really have that opportunity to develop like really strong relationships in one place. I've moved around a lot. I stay busy. But some of my closest friends have come from the photography world. You know, that's Alicia, awesome. I met her through another mentor of mine, Ken Pock, down in Puerto Rico. Awesome. You know, we did a conference in Austin. I've met my friend Rob Whelan from up in Canada. I've got my buddy Kevin Heslin who lives in Costa Rica. We got Chris Werner who lives out in Tahoe. Like the four of us awesome. We had never met each other, but we roomed together in Austin, Texas for this conference. Those are my boys now. Like those are like some of my favorite people.
Is it to be like, I'm thinking of like, how do we teach our kids to make better decisions about how to surround themselves with the right people, you know, because you've mentioned a couple of times that you were in those communities where bad decisions were encouraged, and it's like a relative suffering, right? Like when you're around people, well, I'm not as bad as that guy over there, so I'm okay, right? And now that you're around people who are motivated and excited, that's the thing that we need to emulate and bring into the other parts of our life is how do we get the support we need so that we can maintain the endurance to keep our light shining, right? To keep our gift going forward. So what do you think, if you had parting words or a message to send to our audience today and anyone else out there, what's your ask? What do you want people to do or know with respect to their struggle toward a healthier life?
Don't be afraid to just don't be afraid to ask for help.
I love it.
You know,
I love it.
I went through a couple of therapists. You know, this is something you probably saw this, but and you know this about me. I think we talked about it. I mean, I was suicidal for a while. COVID was effing brutal. I questioned my sobriety a couple of times. Thought about killing myself a couple of times.
I'm grateful you did not.
No, I know a lot of people that are grateful even though they got to put up with me every day.
Hey, we'll take it, man. We'll take it.
But, you know, when that happened, I realized that I needed to talk with people, and that was half the reason I left Florida and got out of there and moved back to the mountains of North Carolina. And I've noticed that when I myself internally want to fix something, that I've reached out to people who know more than I do that can help me with that. And, you know, I told you about, I don't enjoy going to a therapist where I have to sit inside on a couch in a quiet place. So I reached out to a friend of mine in high school who is a therapist here in North Carolina. I said, Anna, is it possible that any of these like therapists, do they ever go for like hikes or they go for walks or do something? She's like, actually, yeah. And now I have this amazing therapist that every Monday I go for an hour. We go to a park, we walk outside, and we talk. I've done 3 sessions and I've improved drastically.
I love
because
it.
you
Because you asked for what you wanted.
yeah
The scale tipped and you said, okay, I've done the sobriety thing. I've done the find your passion thing. There's still something holding me back.
there's a
And
bunch,
you
and it's
asked not only for help in getting therapy, but the right help, because
yep
therapy is not for everyone, or
nope,
particular kind. Some kind of
yeah.
therapy is for everyone, whether it's coaching, therapist, what, I don't even know. But
There's up here in Western North Carolina, there's this program called Pivot Point where they go and help groups and people that are battling with substance abuse
I love
or
that.
mental issues. They take them rafting, they take them hiking, they take them camping.
Right. Give them a life to experience, not put them in
Yeah.
a basement and say you're sick.
I think a big way too, and to be very completely honest, is that I think one of the easiest ways, if you are afraid to get help, you're afraid to ask for help. This is a good way to put it. If you're afraid to ask for help, put your phone down, take your Apple Watch off, leave it at home, go for an hour-long walk by yourself. Just go for a walk.
That's great advice.
And
separate.
take that kind of, feel how the fresh air rejuvenates you. Feel how the sunlight, even if it's overcast, there's UV rays.
Yep.
Vitamin D does major things for your mental psyche. And
3 deep breaths outside can change your whole perspective on life. And I'm not saying it's that easy, not everything, but like frustrations, like little things during the day.
It's a starting point.
Couple deep breaths.
Yeah.
So Mike, we are going to wrap for today because I respect your time and I want to let you go make fabulous photos of the beautiful things in the world. I am so grateful that you have chosen to share your story, not only with me, but at large. We need to know that it is okay to ask for help. And that was great advice.
And
to ask for the right help and that you're worth it.
Any person that is like, wants to know more or wants to just have a conversation, like, hey, how did you do it? Hey, what did you go through? Dude, you can find me through this. Send me a DM. I am
so how do people find you? What's the best way? Tell us your website or best way to get through to you.
So website is just michaelfreas.com. You can
find Freas.
Yep, Foxtrot Romeo Echo Alpha Sierra.
The son of a veteran right there.
Yeah, right. Yep. michaelfreas.com. Instagram is at Michael Freas. My personal is at Freas, Freas _frames. You can, or just send me an email, michael@michaelfreas.com. I am trying, I've got some things going on that I'm working on that I'm trying to get more involved and trying to help people. I'm getting involved with emergency care and ski patrol and stuff like that. So it's things that you can do outdoors, and you need an idea or like, hey, I've thought about all this, but I don't know how to pull the trigger. Send me a DM, send me an email.
Thank you.
The more I can help people, the better this world is.
Agreed. Well, and you know what? When we all help just a little, imagine the consequence of that, right? So, and that's what we're here for, to help people shine their light. So thank you so much for reminding us how important it is to be honest and to look for the light. And I really, from my 18-year-old self, I'm so proud of you and really grateful for you. So thank you for your time today. I look forward to keeping up and seeing all those great projects of yours come to light.
I'm just stoked we lost touch, but we've stayed in friends.
Time.
And I still got to give your husband a hard time. I'm still trying to figure out how much he paid you. I still don't understand it.
He's still paying. One way or another.
Yeah, it's we all in our group of people that we grew up with freshman and sophomore year. We had a crew of people. We did a lot of stuff together.
We did.
We all pieced out. And it's been weird. I swear to you, COVID has been a blessing in a way. Because it's gotten I'm back in touch with our friend Tim. I'm back in touch with our friend Jeremy. Jeremy's been having some rough stuff. He's reached out to me and we've had conversations.
Good for
and
him.
It's I think it's just the whole moral of the story is don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Thank you. Right back at you. So you let us know how we can help you. And thank you so much for your time and your light and our wonderful history. Look forward to more of this. All right. Listen, you stay
Gotcha.
fabulous, and I will talk to you real soon. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Let us know how we can help. If it's, anything related, life coaching is always a great option too, because it's the friendly, easygoing conversation, much like this, where I just help you say, oh, wait, there's that light. Let everyone see it. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on And All the Things.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.